welcome back. I'm your not-so-humble Dungeon Master, TJ, and this is CrestVahllen, the Baker's Dozen. So let's go around the screen, as it were, the virtual table, and we'll introduce everybody. To my right here is Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I play Tamron Grounder, a archaeologist, sorcerer. Them bones, them dry bones. I'm gonna leave now. Bye.
Great. So then next, all the way over there on the other side of Sean is Angela.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Cool. I'm Angela. I play Nakano, a tiefling, rogue, spider woman, and I'm gonna do what I do best: shake them dice and roll them. Shake them dice and roll them.
Oh my god!
It's a
Is that Pitbull? I knew it was Pitbull. I knew it was Pitbull.
Up next, right below me, which is the most prestigious position to be, is Cameron.
I play Scoop Crinkle. I tell Hannah every night, I loafs you.
Oh, man.
Oh no. Oh boy.
Oh boy. Yikes.
Hey.
And last but most certainly not least,
Pretty good.
right here we have Noelle, who I almost forgot.
I am Noelle. Today I'm playing Misheni Ankmut, the Kenran ranger fighter. And I'm just overwhelmed by this mismatched portal.
There was a lot of whelming happening.
She was
a lot
at the
of
bottom of
I think that the name of the last episode was Warm Whelmcome.
Yeah.
A warm Whelmcome. That was some pithy creativity on my part. Thank you. Great. Well, now that introductions are over, welcome back to the continent of CrestVahllen. This is the Baker's Dozen, and we y'all want to play some D&D?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So cool. We're gonna play some D&D. But first, let's recap all of last session and the 2 episodes that, pardon me, we went through. Oh my god. Excuse me.
You're right there.
With force. Pardon me. This is the comedy you can expect to see here on this stream. Very, very highbrow comedy. Great. Okay, so let's get the music. Oh, by the way, the Spotify invite is in the Captain Buffalo thing, so you guys are all set when you're ready to do that. But for now, we're going to do our own stuff here. Here we go. All right. So a tepid saltwater rain constantly falls upon the Panbringer. Avery and the party prepare to part ways. Tamron begins to float as they head out in a dinghy toward a large island that is part of the western side of the Bagaket archipelago, his levitation abruptly ending. Tammy falls into the water, but is promptly hoisted into the boat. However, the disturbance causes several drowners to assail the party and attempt to pull them under the waves. The gang becomes inundated with wet claws from all sides as Misheni is dragged under the surface of the water. Thanks to the group's quick thinking, she is released and is able to rejoin her compatriots, but the drowned creatures keep coming, and the small boat just isn't moving fast enough towards the shore to outrun them. Hurt, Tamron and Nakano jump into action, pushing and pulling the small vessel with great effort, causing it to speed onto the shore and impact a tree in the dense foliage. The Baker's Dozen flee into the jungle, outrunning the soaked creatures in pursuit. Tammy uses the remainder of his flight to acquire a better vantage of the island, spotting a deep cenote of ominous nature but a mile away. As Misheni feels her planar thread pull in that direction, a Scoop notices a disturbing lack of signs of fauna throughout their trek. Arriving at the spiraling crater that ends in a cenote, Tamron spots a stone gate of some kind that appears to be pouring water into the crater from its archhead. Misheni pulls out the strand of hair she took from Agatilla as it morphs into a violently writhing tentacle. Just then, the puddles that sit among the stone spiral within the crater coalesce into several water-like entities that advance with hostility upon the party. Macheni and Nakano repel and scale the chasm-like crater, doing their best to avoid yet damage the dangerous water elementals. Unfortunately, both in turn become whelmed by the odd entities, the situation turning dire. Heroic efforts, falls, flights, and arcs of lightning fill the space as the water level continues to rise, threatening to drown those unaware. Amid the chaos, Macheni dives down through the flooded crater to the gate and releases some catalyst dust, causing the portal to shut down and the cenote to begin to drain. Closer to this object that seems to pull Macheni's very essence, she notices that it could be built from several pieces of different well walls, mortared together. Eventually, the band of adventurers emerge victorious, but not without thorough exhaustion and egregious wounds. Welcome back to CrestVahllen. All right, and then we're back to our other music. Great. Okay, so you guys are all here. I'm going to say that at this moment, the saltwater rain is still falling. Macheni, you are at the bottom of the cenote next to this thing as the water finally lowers enough and drains enough that you no longer have to swim, but then can stand and tread. You can tread and then stand, and then only your feet are wet. Other than your sopping fur from the salt water that was within this cenote, which is also odd. There is still a trickle coming from the arch, from the arch head, but the rest of you are in various degrees of descent down into the cenote. As you see this as well, you see a wet Kenran-like creature down there, kind of just gazing at the gateway, and a bunch of the other creatures that were defeated kind of discorporate and just become water in puddles yet again. It is, just for reference, it's about late morning, like probably just before noon, or probably around that time. I'd say somewhere between like 10:30, 11 a.m., something like that, looking at the sun. For the moment, the gate has stopped pouring water. For the moment, you are not assailed by creatures. The day is yours.
I need help
Nicely
now.
done.
Kind of stuck on this rock. Cameron, please help. Or Nakano.
Me? I'm not.
Aren't you flying?
Am I still flying? I don't think so. Oh, I guess I am flying, right?
Yeah, you're flying for the next, I guess, what is it, an hour?
I'll scoop you up like a newlywed crossing the threshold and carry you down. No, I think it's 10 minutes, I think.
Oh, my hero. My hero, my hero.
Is it? It's powerful.
I think it's 10 minutes. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So we messed that up last time, but that's okay. Okay, so you are flying, for the next couple minutes. You scoop up a scoop with little effort, and just, where would you like to place a scoop?
Just down next to Macheni.
Okay.
Hey. So,
Who's hurt? Who's like really hurt?
I'm a little hurt, I think.
Macheni does not look good.
Oh, I'm fine.
I'm 24 HP.
She's got that like kind of like
pretty
wet,
good.
drowned
Yeah,
cat
right.
dog
Yeah,
thing going on. She's like, she does not look good.
yeah.
Wait,
Like
hurt
parts
or
of her fur that are missing.
Machete?
She looks like she's suffering from saltwater mange.
Yeah.
I'll bring her down too, by the way.
Okay. You pick her up, and she's like, "Just because you're carrying me doesn't make me a baby. I'm still your captain. Go that way." Before you can go a certain way, she points. Go that way. Now go that way.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Definitely hurt. This is interesting. Do you guys want to take a little rest or anything? I mean, I could use some time to bandage up my wounds.
Yeah, we can do a
Sure.
short rest.
Yeah, cool. So the surface of where you are right now is the surface of the water. It's about like that, that knob of your ankle. I don't remember what it's called. It's about that like knob deep. So it's about like 2-3 inches deep, and you just like kind of like so, and it is salt water. You can sit up here. There are some other rocks here that are a little bit more above. You can take a short rest here if you like. It's a little soggy, but
Okay.
great. So if you'd like to, is anybody keeping watch during this short rest?
I'm fully healthy, so I'll keep watch.
Okay.
Tammy?
Today's the 30th of High
It's the 31st.
So, right?
31st.
31st.
Yes, it's actually the same day as when we started last session, because we started at the very beginning of 31st last session, and it's only been a couple hours. So yes, you guys, the rest of you who are short resting can spend your hit die, regain your abilities that you get back on a short rest, if you so choose. Tammy, while you're watching, are you using the remainder? I mean, your fly's only gonna last for a couple minutes, and then you have to go down and like rest. But I mean, you could essentially be anywhere you want to be stationed for the watch. Where would you like to be?
For what is this, for an hour?
Yeah.
I guess I'll be at the top.
Okay. You go up at the top. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
7.
7.
Oh no.
Okay. Yet again, you don't hear any sounds of fauna. No birds, no insects, no rustling of the leaves other than from the wind. But the rain, as you've noticed, oh, right, the rain has stopped. Or at least it's kind of stopped. It's like every once in a while that kind of like a little misting every once in a while. It's almost like on a high wind day, if you're standing next to a waterfall, that kind of mist that hits you every so often, it's kind of like that. But mostly it has stopped. However, the storm clouds do not cease. They still remain in place.
Oh, Cameron. The compass.
What?
Yeah, maybe we should wait until the end of this rest, but yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. What you do notice is among one of the puddles where one of the water elementals discorporated or disintegrated or whatever the proper word is, because I make my own words up, but all words are made up, so whatever. It is a very odd, like you see something like kind of like flopping, like splashing in the water a little bit. It's your first sign of like life other than flora that you've seen this entire time since you've been on this island. But it's a little ways off.
I'll investigate.
Okay, you walk up to it, and now as you're getting closer to it, you like look at it like, what is that? What it looks like is kind of like a hummingbird, but instead of wings, it has fins. And what it looks like, and instead of like, it looks like it almost has gills as well, like a hummingbird with gills and fins, kind of like a cross between like a puffer fish, a hummingbird, and a flying fish, kind of like all put together. Except the portions of it that are amphibious do have signs of that corruption of the deep on it. Like there are like small barnacles beginning to form and like algae growing under the fins. Like it looks like a creature that wasn't non-humanoid, that kind of thing, that has succumbed to this type of thing that was within the body of one of the water elementals that is flopping, like can't breathe. Yeah.
I'll scoop it up and bring it down to Machete because it's kind of her bag.
Cool. You scoop it up and you run all the way down the cenote. This like fish out, trying to make your way down. I'm just gonna roll. Let's see.
I can put it in my canteen.
Okay, you put it in the canteen because I was about to say roll the
Yeah.
natural one and it's going to save it absolutely on the way down. But yeah, you put it in your canteen, which is fresh water or salt water?
I will. I'm gonna dump out the fresh water, fill it with this elemental water, and then put it in.
You got it. Okay, cool. It just fits in the little hole because it's like a tiny little hummingbird. You pop it in there and you make your way down the cenote. Every once in a while, hit a puddle, make it down to Machete, and you thrust your cantina to her.
What's this?
Found this weird little creature in one of the elementals puddles.
Oh,
Well, she's like sunbathing, trying to
Okay.
regain her hit points.
after I've finished bandaging a wound, I'm like, okay, let me take a look. I'll pop down one of my monocles and
Yeah, go ahead and roll. I'm
I'm
gonna
thinking
say,
like Spy Kids gift.
yeah, exactly. Just like it's the thing I think about every single time
Yeah.
I think about her doing that. Go ahead and roll. I'm gonna say a nature check. You're proficient in nature, correct? Because you're a simic scientist.
I am not.
Okay, this is absolutely okay. You get proficiency with this one. Roll a nature check. So just roll a, I guess, wisdom check plus your proficiency. I believe is what it is, or intelligence
It's
check plus your
intelligence.
intelligence plus your proficiency. Yeah. So this will be just like an animal science check.
I don't know what the fuck this is.
Oh no.
A natural
No.
one. What is the total of that?
5.
5.
No.
Yeah. What? You just notice the same
Not-
thing that Tamron notices, where it also appears to have like a bit of like signs of the corruption of the deep on it. But other than that, this is an entirely new species, or like a hybrid of a bunch of species, which is
Great.
like, for you as being a simic scientist, like really fucking cool. Like that's kind of your bag. But this looks to be like not made, not crafted.
Right.
Like grafted. It looks to be like evolved somewhat, maybe. Like you don't see any suture marks, is what I'm saying.
Weird, right?
It's super weird. I mean, this doesn't make sense. This body part being able to be on here and then, like, it's, it's.
Seems like
Very
all the different types of animals just kind of jammed together into one thing.
Yeah, it's like spontaneous evolution or something. It's very odd. Like, nobody put this together.
I'm gonna go check out some of the other puddles, see if there's more of these things.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
I'll help you after I'm done with this side of my body with Patty.
Sure. Go ahead and roll an investigation check then, Tammy.
Ooh. Dirty 20.
A dirty 20. Yeah, you go over to one of the greater elemental ones, which I believe was defeated like halfway up the cliff, and only like half of the puddle, half of it was like inside the water. But you go to
Right.
where you saw the location of where it was defeated, and you find another 2 creatures. One looks like this odd. If you could take like a swordfish and make it miniature, except rather than the spear for a nose, it has a toucan bill. That's what this looks like. And
All these creatures.
but it's much, much smaller. It's like miniaturized. And then there's this other creature that looks like, oh, this is so odd to describe, but what's the species of those monkeys that do the like the
Yeah.
Capuchin.
capuchin? Thank you. What looks like 4-limbed, long, still has like signs of fur on it, but it looks like the fur has like evolved to be some sort of like that whale. What is it called? The baleen.
Baleen.
like whale baleen instead of like fur, and it looks like the cross between like a mermaid and a capuchin, but baleen instead of fur, and its like face looks like a miniature triton,
Oh,
and it's just kind of crawling itself. It's like about to go over the edge to try to fall into the water.
put them all into my canteen.
You absolutely cannot fit these two creatures.
Okay.
These are like one of them is a small creature, one's a tiny creature, but they're not small enough to put into the.
Right.
the
I'll just make a
mouthful.
note of them then and just kind of let them suffer.
Okay. Yeah, the capuchin looks like it's not drowning and like can still breathe, but it's just uncomfortable.
Does it seem like it might be like the natural fauna of this island kind of starting to turn into fish?
That is a theory. If you
Seems
want,
like all these tropical animals, right?
yeah, it does. Like it is a possible theory. I mean, all these creatures do look like, if they weren't in their aquatic forms, could very possibly be creatures like regular other like non-aquatic denizens of this island. But these ones have these odd aquatic adaptations.
Did you find anything?
Yes, I found more. This one looks like a monkey, kind of, and this one looks like another bird, like a toucan or something.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Do you? I wonder if we take them further away, if they'll revert, because the lock of hair, for example, changed into like in proximity to the.
Well, why don't I keep the one in my canteen? Maybe it'll stay alive, and then when we leave, we can see if it transforms.
Okay, sounds good. Worth a shot.
Cool. Okay. You do that. The monkey fish thing is still has, it looks like it retains some of intelligence, because it like sees you moving and it like moves away as fast as it possibly can, because it's like, oh, big thing, move away from the big thing. But yeah, like again, this is the first sign you've seen of fauna here. It's they both definitely, or at least all of the ones you've seen, do look like they show signs of corruption of the deep, which is the only thing that you know to call it ever since your interaction with the sea elves.
Yeah.
But great, you guys finish your short rest. One of the things you do notice, Scoop, while you're resting, because of your high passive perception, is that the slow, very, very slow trickle of the arch that had been trickling since the beginning of your rest has ever so slightly increased in acceleration. As far as like, it's now, rather than it's now like almost like the leak is just getting ever so bigger, ever so slower.
I think the portals. I can hear an echo through your
Oh, I am so
Yeah.
sorry. I forgot to turn that off.
Oh,
I
testing.
totally forgot to turn that off.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay.
That's better. Sorry about that.
I think-
I forgot to turn that off.
I think the portal's opening back up.
Oh, it's weird because like it should be completely closed. We did enough of the catalyst test. Really weird.
I mean, it's starting to drip a little bit more than it did when we first rested. So
Okay.
I'm just assuming.
Well, when we
Right.
got here, it was like flowing, right? Not like gushing like later, but it was,
when
It was
moving more than this, right?
Right. Yes. It was running like a very lazy waterfall. And
Yeah.
then when the surroundings were reacting to you, it started to like whitewater rapids.
Right.
I meant
Well,
when we
something is
first,
causing it to change.
Hmm.
What were you saying, Scoop? Sorry.
I said I meant when we first rested, it was quite slow, but it's starting to pick up.
I trust you. You're very observant. So, now that we're all bandaged up a little bit and a little drier, anybody else want to take a look at this with me?
Hold on. Sorry.
What did you say again?
Not a lot of room around here.
Buddy. Does anybody else want to take a look at the portal with me? Just kind of take a closer look.
Sure.
Sure.
Now that we're all bandaged. Cool.
I'll cast guidance on myself.
Okay, cool. So you guys are just kind of trying to investigate the portal, see if you can what information you can glean from it.
Brushing them with my archaeology brushes.
Oh, okay. This is actually really good. So here's what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have both Misheni and Tamron roll investigation checks at advantage. Who would you like to give guidance to?
I was gonna say myself.
on yourself.
But I'll do
Right. I'm just saying this is like a group effort.
I'll do Tamron because he's the archaeologist. So
I'm sorry. This is
My
kind of like a group
investigation's
effort.
not great though.
Yeah, it's only because these are the two people in the party that would like really know what to look for when it comes to this kind of thing.
Okay.
So like they're the only ones that can really even roll investigations on this thing, because although you've seen a couple of these before a scoop, it's like you can only glean as much information as Macheni has already gleaned, as far as like this looks like a bunch of different pieces of well wall put together.
And
Your
also-
instincts don't really give you any more.
then, right? Because
I'm sorry.
And then same for Nikano then, right? Too, because
Right, exactly.
not
You, Macheni, have, although nowhere near to the degree as your sister, have like that inexorable connection with planar things just because of your past. Whereas Tamron, this is history. This is your bag, boy.
I also technically would know how old they are and what
Exactly.
their origins are automatically.
Yes. You, just by looking at it now that you're much closer to it, can tell that yes, the timeline does stack up to although the dating on the other well walls that you have encountered has been rather vague, but yet ancient. Far older than literally anything else that you've ever encountered. It's the carbon dating, as it were, is just so broad because of just how the degree is, how old it actually is. It's very difficult to actually like give you a precise time, but it is very comparable. What this thing is very comparable to the other well walls that you have seen.
Okay. And Elven for sure, right?
No. Remember, the well walls themselves were not elven, from what you were able to discern. The well walls themselves were made of this odd material, this odd stone, metal, or ore. You never really able to just discern what this material was. That had these odd carvings on it of a language that you also couldn't understand. That a scoop member like to glean some information which caused his unfortunate transformation. Some forbidden knowledge.
It was just the ruins around the well walls that were Elven.
No, they are not elven either. They were of a text that was indiscernible. And
No, I just mean like the buildings that were built around the well walls.
Yes, I'm sorry, not the ruins, the ruins. Yes, the ruins.
Yeah.
Yes. The ruins, yes. The ruins that contained most of the ones that you have found, yes, were elven in origin, but nowhere near as old as the thing they contained, as the well walls that they contained. Which is insane, because the ancient Elven Empire is just that, ancient. So this is ancient,
Right.
ancient.
Old as fuck.
Great, so why don't you two give me those advantages, those investigation checks at advantage. Tamron, you're going to add a d4 to yours for a Scoop's guidance.
Nice.
22.
22.
Same.
Nice.
Nice. Oh yeah.
turn around and give you a high five.
22. Wow. Okay. Do
Solving shit.
so double 22s. 2 22s. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, so there's a joke there. I just can't think of it. Okay, so let's
Who's
do
dead?
Tamron first. This is the information that you glean from here. Absolutely, these line up with the timeline of being well walls. You can tell via your archaeology training, these are pieces of well walls. They're absolutely from different well walls. Like somebody either found broken well walls, pardon me, and hodgepodged this thing together, or purposefully dismantled well walls and put this together, which to understand, like, you guys don't even understand how well walls work. Like, you have a vague understanding, but like as far as the actual intricacies and specifics, no fucking clue. It's well beyond some understanding. So whoever or whatever created this thing must have a in-depth, amazing understanding of things that go like we're talking about like a very, very high level intelligence, or someone with a lot of power. And also, this looks like some parts of this well wall were exposed to different types of elements, and I don't mean like fire, water, earth, air. I mean like of like the elements out in the world, like exposed to like one has what appears to look like its stone is a little bit more rounded because it might have been like sandblasted by wind for who knows how many years. Another one appears to have like verdigris on it. Perhaps it was like near a copper some vein that it was blah 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 that was degrading over who knows how many years. One looks like to have a bunch of lichen growing on it. Another one has coral and other creatures that are almost entirely encompassing it. So like a bunch of these were in different locations that were brought here. The thing that you do notice specifically is that there is no like mortar that kind of connects these things. Like they're just almost as if they were like magnetic to each other. They just and just clicked together.
Can I bust out my macaroni piece and see if it kind of like, maybe like is attracted somehow?
Yeah, you can pull that out. That's just in your bag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you pull it out. You feel like how far do you want to stand from this thing?
I mean, next to it.
You want to stand next to it? You feel like a very strong, like if you knew what magnetism was, like magnetic force, like you have to use almost all of your strength to prevent this thing from like, there's a little, because it's not uniform, right? The connections aren't uniform. So there's like a little abscess over here and there. You can feel it like pulling towards the abscess to try to fill the gap.
Guys, these pieces have sideways gravity.
What?
What a great medieval way to explain magnetism. Sideways gravity.
Not that we know what gravity is either, but
It seems to fall sideways.
yeah.
That's wild. That makes sense though, with the way that like the dust also kind of just floats through and is, falls sideways.
Yeah, so Tamron, that's what you discern. There's one more thing that you discern. This, because you are very good at understanding the date of things, this has been put together for quite some time. Meaning nowhere near as ancient as the peaches are, like not by any stretch of the imagination, but this has been put together for quite some time. You would say in the ballpark of at least a couple hundred years, something like that. Maybe even more. Anywhere between over 100 years, because this stuff is really hard to date, right? Because it's from a bunch of different things, but you can definitely tell by the way this thing has been constructed and how things have formed around it in this space that I would say anywhere between 100 years and 1,000 years or more.
Yeah.
Maybe like anywhere between 100 and 1,500 years, somewhere around there. It's been here for a while. But it doesn't look like it has the same erosion factor from having it like gush water like you witnessed for that amount of time. It doesn't make sense for that to be consistent for how long it's been here. That must be a more recent development.
Okay.
So by that, you're like understanding this must have been like opened, or at least consistently open, far more recent. Great. That's what you understand. Miss Shenny, you dig into your innate connection with this thing, and you sense like immediately, shit, there is a lot of pressure on the other side of whatever that is. This is some sort of planar gate. You just know from your understanding and your experience with it. This is some sort of planar gate. It's some sort of well wall, but the well wall doesn't go. Whereas the other well walls that you have understood have like they connect to the well wall continuum, that kind of like tunnel wormhole-ish type thing, where you can like exit in certain spots to go to other well walls, or who knows, and which had these dimensional creatures kind of patrolling it, or who knows, that you've encountered. This one has a specific destination in mind, which isn't the well wall continuum. And the only thing that you can feel with your thread pull is that there's a lot of pressure behind this veil. Okay. And it does feel like a pinprick in a balloon that slowly leaks. That's what the water that's tipping out kind of feels like. Which, it's pretty reasonable to understand that there's probably water beyond this thing. It does look, from the way you can understand, is that somebody jury-rigged a portal to a specific destination that they wanted it to go by scrounging and MacGyvering these well wall materials.
Mm. So they don't necessarily have to go into the continuum.
Which is interesting.
They can just kind of go anywhere, huh?
Yeah. Which begs the question, what came first?
Go ahead.
Was the continuum there anyway, and like the places between these things, and they just, whoever designed these earlier on were able to kind of tap into that, or the other way around? Was it like, did that space get created because, I don't know, it's just interesting.
Did you see anything when you were down there before you closed the portal through it?
I saw a lot of water.
Wait, what?
I mean, I saw a lot of water. I was trying not to be pulled through, but DM, could I have seen anything other than that, or?
I'm just wondering if it's like if there's like light, or if there's
no,
or if it was like dark water.
Right. All you saw was like the rush of water that distorts light so much that you can't really see through it. Like it's like trying to look through a waterfall that's violently falling. You can't really see through it unless it's like that thin, clear veil, and it wasn't that. So you couldn't really see through it. However, you raise another good point, is that this it makes you think about the intended purpose of these well walls. Like these well walls are absolutely constructed, right? By someone or something. And so the intended purpose of these well walls was probably to access the well wall continuum, or something like that, at least because that's where they consistently go. This one is not doing its intended purpose. It's been changed to do something else.
All the other ones were intact. They weren't put together by random pieces.
Right.
Right.
Which means like the pieces themselves probably have some sort of like portal dimensional, like wibbly wobbly space magic or like innately in them that allow that thing. But this is proof right in front of you that it can be modulated to uses beyond its intended.
I wonder if it's almost like the person, whoever created this particular one, took the pieces of the other ones, and it was like 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 a map. Like you know where this one goes to and this one goes to, so they could kind of triangulate maybe where they wanted to go.
Yeah, that's interesting thought.
That makes sense.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't know why they'd want to go to some sort of place with a lot of water, other than if they were trying to maybe have this corruption take over, right?
Yeah. Maybe wherever this is where the corruption is coming from, and there's more portals like this and like the deep ocean that's kind of feeding that corruption.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's just tapping into it so it can come up on land.
I'm wondering if we're supposed to put the idol in that hole. We still don't really know what we're supposed to do with the idol, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like worried that we're gonna like accidentally trigger like a world-ending event or something, you know?
Right. Just like
firewall.
accidentally pressing the wrong button. And...
Yeah.
Can you open the book and see what the thing looks like in it before you take it out of the book?
Sure.
Is that possible?
Does it look the same, Dan?
You open the book where you keep your a couple of your items. Well, I think the only item you have in there right now is the idol itself.
Yeah.
Idol.
You turn it to the page. You are flipping, and you've noticed how it's not always on the same page. It like moves around.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you go to the page it was before, not there. You can go back. Did I miss it? Can't find it. And like you catch just a little
Right,
image of it
panic.
before it like rounds the corner, two-dimensionally style of like one of the dog-eared pages, and like this continues to like hide in the book. It almost like it has agency while it's within the book, and you like are chasing it like very flip book style through the book,
That's
trying to
funny.
eventually, Tammy, you put the book down on a stone, and you're like two hands like flipping. Get back here, you little. Eventually, you do find it, and you. Put your arms on either side of the page to prevent the book, to prevent it from going back, and it's like moving back and forth. Now it looks like the Eldritch Idol itself has like unwrapped itself to form this odd, very, very odd creature. It has a long, and all of this is in like crosshatch ink style. It has a long beak that looks like this, just like dark ore or metal. You don't know what it is. No face, just like stringy sinew. It's just like a tube that ends in a long beak, and this stringy sinew musculature that just has this just pointed. No, like it doesn't have an opening for the beak. It's just one solid like horn that comes out, and it has stringy sinew like. Yuck, like body horror style tube that comes out of it, that's kind of this long neck that then goes into a body made of the same kind of sinew musculature material that has 6 legs / arms come out of it, because they have like hands at the end of the arms, the ends of the legs, and like one long tail that goes around, and like the front pair have like more articulatable, and it kind of looks like it's like forming things with its hand, and it's just kind of like writhing like a captured animal, moving back. And it's just impossibly long the way it is, and it just looks. And you could see, oh shit, that really is the thing that the Eldritch Idol was depicting, but it was like so contorted in on itself and compact that it looked so different. But now that it's like unfolded, and it kind of looks like this trapped cage animal thing, as it starts to like do that perspective thing where it almost is like it's backing into like the seam of the page between like the left and the right page, very like railroad track perspective style, as it's getting a smaller and smaller image within it.
All right, maybe we just throw the whole book in there.
Not let it out.
I'd rather not let it out.
Yeah. How is it moving?
I thought it was like made of rock. I don't understand.
Yeah, this is super weird. All this is weird.
Yeah.
Let's go home. No, I'm kidding.
Give up, adventure over.
mean,
maybe all we need to do is just collect all these idols. Maybe we don't need to like put them anywhere. And maybe there's another idol here that we need to collect. That we just get them all together and then figure out what to do.
Gotta
Maybe.
catch 'em all.
I know.
Gotta catch them all, you know? It is like the Dragon Balls. You catch them all and then the dragon shows up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I-
The ancient halfling tale of the Dragon Balls. Legend
mean-
says if people grab the testicles of enough dragons, they can make a wish come true.
I mean, I think it's worth at least taking a look around. What do you guys think, Nakano and Scoop? What do you want to do?
Worth looking.
What'd you say?
Well, I'm sorry, what?
No, it's worth like looking around.
Okay. Because we have room in there for more, right? We can hold like six things, something like that, right?
32.
I think we have 32 pages.
Oh, okay.
We
That's
have
right.
31 left.
If,
I think,
if
right?
we do find another idol, do we want it in the same book? Because if they're able to move around, what if they touch each other?
That's probably okay.
Are you like? Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, whatever happens in there is not going to affect our like a different
I mentioned.
distance, right?
Possibly.
I guess we don't really know anything, do we?
No, I don't understand that kind of stuff as well as my sister does for
Yeah.
dimensions and stuff.
Should we look for an idol?
First.
Let's go on the idol hunt. Let's do it.
All right. I'll pop out the compass, Seeker's compass, and think about that dang old idol. Think about just an idol like that.
Very good question. It's a very, very good question. Because I want to know if it transcends planes. I don't think it does, but let me double check.
1,000 feet.
It because you know that.
I mean, it says if it can't if it's between lead.
Right. So the concentration is speaking of the compass will either point to something that's close to the idea or the nearest object that fits the bill. So you know this before casting it. It could very well possibly just point to your book if you do that.
That's just a drawing of it, though. That's not the actual thing.
It says the nearest closing thing. Okay, that's a good point. Okay, the more
In
specific.
our world, it's just a drawing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an object.
It's true. However, it does exist on another like pocket dimension of which this thing is the portal of back and forth to, but it is also not technically open because it's still contained. So, I mean, yeah, it's possible.
Should we just take it 1,000 feet away?
You could, yeah. I mean, there's this command for the Seeker's Trumpet is a little wonky for it. It may be a little more complex than it could handle, but it might not. It might work. Who knows?
All right. Well, YOLO.
Okay,
So
cool.
a fun guy, you know that.
What's that?
YOLO was YOLO a fun, crazy guy that you used to know? Is that-
Yeah, back in the long day.
Yeah.
He used to do crazy shit all the time.
Nice.
Always would
So-
shout his name when he did them too. It was very strange.
Sounds like a fun guy.
So here's what I'll need, just because the things are quite specific. I will need the specific thing you tell it, like specifically, word for word, verbatim. What is it that you're telling it to focus on?
An idol the same or similar to the idol that we found on the other island.
That I'll let you know just real quick. I'll let you know that is a little too complicated of a thing because it requires the compass to have a like experience like a person would as being like similar to the other island. You'll need to like just
Well,
describe the object.
it found this idol before when we were looking for it.
True.
Yeah.
So does this magical item have memory? Wow, we're really getting into the weeds on this one. Okay. Here's what I'll do. Okay.
It's like holding up the hanky to the dogs. Like,
Right.
You found this before. Sniff.
I'll give
Find
the DM guidance.
I rolled a luck check for the Seeker's Compass. The Seeker's Compass points right at the gate.
Oh. I'm gonna look on the other side of the gate. Just bring it to the other side of the gate.
You bring it to the other side of the gate. Points right at the gate.
Oh man, I was hoping that wasn't the case.
Roll a natural 20 on the luck check for that compass.
Is it one of the rocks? By any
Let's
chance?
Is it just always we're just gonna move it around the gate? Is it always just right at the middle of the gate?
When you walk under the threshold of the gate, it spins.
Okay. So it's in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go in there.
I don't think we can.
Can't hurt like breathe underwater. Can we just send her in there?
Her can breathe
cannot.
underwater, and she has a
Oh,
swim
she
speed.
can?
Right.
We just tie a rope to her and send her.
You see her like there's like 3 inches of water, right? And she's like on her belly, just breath stroking through the water, just moving very, very, very slow, just kind of like enjoying the water.
Don't we have a scroll that? Doesn't somebody have a scroll of breathing underwater?
Or was it potion or scroll? Let's see.
Or was it a potion?
Ocean.
Everybody's digging around in their backpacks.
Just cling, cling.
There's potion of water breathing. I think I have it here. Well, it should last for 8 hours. Do we want
8 hours.
Only works on one person though.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if we split it up, will it be like 4 hours if the 2 people drink?
No, it is a magically contained vial. Like if you drink just portion of it, it just doesn't work. It needs to have like the whole thing. Just like what was that? No Hercules potion of like ungodliness did work partially, but yeah, gotta drink the whole thing.
Yes.
But why am I going? Machete has the fastest swim speed, right?
It can be
Sure.
pretty fast, yeah.
Hurt and you both have swim speed. I think just regular movement is just faster than her. So
I mean, here's an idea. I'm gonna hold on to the potion. I can just hold my breath first and see if it's worth it. And then as we go through, see, and then take it if needed.
Yeah.
the other thing
So
is,
isn't it just gonna start like gushing if we open it again?
Probably.
the other thing to consider is you guys came here. Let's review the reason why you guys came here. You guys came here because it was possibly one of the locations in which the idol belonged, and you discerned that the only way to destroy said idol was to bring it to one of the locations that it belongs.
Maybe on the other side of this door is its home, basically,
Right.
where it belongs. Maybe it doesn't belong in this world at all. Maybe bringing it here was an abomination in the first place. Maybe it wants to go back home. Maybe we put it back there. It runs home and it's with its family, and that's the end of it.
Right.
Maybe there's like a whole world of idols over there,
God, that's
It's-
scary.
If we
I
rest,
know.
if we rest here for tonight, I can send or cast divination to ask what will happen.
I'm feeling you're on thin ice with your god, though, with that.
I'd never even used it before.
Oh, what am I thinking of then?
Send-
The sendings, his telemarketing,
And the sendings.
what their
You
bread and
do
breakfast.
send here's the thing, the sendings that you send are right up Blipty Pulp's alley because she's insanity, right? So you send like ads to people out of fucking nowhere. She's like, great, yeah, make people crazy, think they have voices in their heads. Totally down for that shit. So a lot of the shit you do is like very par for the course. Very happy about it. You know, if happy is a feeling they feel.
Do you guys want to wait? It tells what might happen if we do bring it home within 7
I
days.
don't want to wait here for 2 days.
Yeah. It's especially if you said that the water is starting to pour out anyway, and with that pressure.
Sure.
That's the other thing too. Even if we go through, like, I think opening it up again is just going to, even a little bit will come gushing out. So we might not have a choice, but all of us go in at the same time.
Also worried if you go in there without drinking the potion, if you open the bottle underwater, it'll just dissipate into the water.
Can you just
Yeah.
underwater open a?
I guess you could open it with your mouth or something. I
Right.
don't know.
You just keep it in there in my snout and just, no.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just pre-prep it in your mouth.
I'm sorry, what?
Mm.
Say it again?
I said pre-prep it in your mouth.
Yeah.
What you just said. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
And we definitely don't see it like buried in one of the rocks
no.
anywhere. Damn it. Okay. All right. Well, Hurt, what do you think? You ready for a little swim?
As the captain of this here troop, I'm always ready for a little swim to save your hides, you sorry sack of losers.
Excellent.
I'll give you the book, Mishani.
Should we?
Are we just looking around in there first?
That was what I
Oh,
was
okay.
thinking. Not necessarily returning it just quite yet. Just in
Okay.
case it does, as you said earlier, like maybe start cataclysmic event, just maybe. Which is a good point. If this does start filling up quite a bit, do you want to get up about midway so you're at least not immediately pulled in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And you want to give me some of that dust in case I need to close it?
Yeah, let me see how much I have left.
Or do I have some?
I only have one vial left.
Oh, shit. Well, we don't have very much of that dust left. Wait, so then how are we going to close it?
You might not be able to, unless somebody has some other dust on them.
No, I don't think I do.
Machini, roll me an intelligence check real quick.
Great.
Oh, this isn't hard.
7.
7. Okay.
Wow, okay.
Not bad. DC was 5, so don't worry about it.
Oh, good. Okay.
Because this is a very traumatic event. It happened to you. It's going to burn into your memory. You remember what you did, or you remember... Well, I guess you don't, because you weren't there.
Well, but then
you came back.
what she would have told... Yeah, she would have told me.
So you remember what happened. Let's just say what transpired the first time that you experienced a well wall being shut down, and how that happened. And that's why you have that macaroni piece. Well, no, that's not why, but similar.
Because
Sean's over there essentially eating yogurt, I guess it is, and then choking on it.
Chocolate.
Chocolate cake. I'm not being sensual. It's just the way I eat. Can't help it if I'm sexy.
It does sound good right now, though.
I've got some ice cream cake in the fridge or in the freezer.
I know, like regular cake.
Good cake. Have some cake.
You love cake.
Got a little
We'll
cake.
have something.
Yeah, we'll buy a cake. We'll just like.
I'm a really good bakery in Brooklyn.
I always preferred ice cream cake than like flour baked cake.
Me too. This is like a mousse cake, so it's like
Oh,
50% mousse,
that's good.
50% cake.
Mm.
Are you looking back at your very beginning notes?
Yes, I am. 'Cause I
Better
thought-
yet, it was your
I thought
sister that
something
did
happened.
it. She told you what had happened when she returned to that after her.
Yeah, but just the
Essentially, these things aren't invincible.
Right.
The well walls are not invincible.
Yeah.
There is at least a way that you know, kind of like an on-off switch that you figured out of like, using catalyst dust. But you also know if you want something to turn off and you don't know where the switch is, there are other
you
ways
can
of
just
turning it off.
pound it. Yeah,
Smash it.
we could just smash it. I mean, it's going
But
to
then, if we do that, before deciding whether to put the idol in there, then it's all, we're done. That's it.
yeah.
I feel like we need to decide now if that's what we're going to do. And also, we need more of that dust.
Yeah, we do. I doubt that we'll see some more of those creatures that we saw before.
Not here, yeah.
Mm-mm. Not in this one. Okay, so maybe game plan. Open it up using the last vial that we have. Hurt and I still go in there, do a reconnaissance, come back, say yes or no. You guys are still from a distance. We can put the idol in, or we say no and you guys smash it with some cool magic or something.
As you say
I'm a
that
fuck.
too, Macheni, being a ranger, knowing how to survive, knowing like the rules of like, when to ration things, when to not ration things, you're keenly reminded of the rule of water. You don't ration water. You drink it and you find more. Especially being from the area that you're from, that your species is from. You don't ration water, you drink it and you find more.
The same thing, but with the dust. Assuming you guys-
Yeah. We got one shot to not miss our chance.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in.
I gotta get a couple. Roger.
Okay. Cool. Do you still have
I'm
your
also okay.
gun?
I think if you take a look, it'll be faster too if we make that decision. And also, if you're in there and it gets hairy and you need to make a snap decision, then at least you have it, right?
Yeah. It's true. All right. Okay. Hopefully the fact that it's, on its own weird little thing, then it might be okay, but all right. Let's do this. Maybe, let's definitely tie some ropes around Hearth and I, though, just in case we get really sucked in, or vice versa.
Okay. So, you guys finish your short rest. You're all standing there. Do you pull out your catalyst dust?
We're standing there with ropes tied around our
To what?
feet or waist. We could have it to maybe one of the boulders that's in the cenote. One of the big.
Yeah, sure. Sure. I'll say you guys can tether each of yourselves individually. You have enough rope, being as you had access to so much rope, and you would never have left the ship without 50 pieces of rope, 50 yards or feet of hempen rope, each of you. With how much rope is on the ship. You can find rocks to lash them to, lash yourselves to, around the waist. You finish doing that. After a couple minutes, you all look ridiculous. Hurt is a little unhappy to be wrapped the rope around. You all look like the earth has tongues around you. And, yeah.
Don't we have what?
Harnesses? I think we went to a shop one time to get a harness.
I think you got, like, block and tackle. That's a little different.
Yeah. Okay, you guys are over there. I'll put the potion in my mouth and prep it and take one big breath, and then let's do it.
All right, this is it, y'all.
Yeah, prepping the potion, not drinking the potion, just quite yet.
You got it. So you're just putting the whole potion in your mouth, cork included.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got it. It's like tying it to opening that in your mouth is going to be like tying a cherry, and not in a cherry. But sure. Yeah. Cherry stem.
We're going to do enhance ability, give Masheni Dex advantage.
Okay, you give her Cat's Grace.
Thank you.
Give you advantage on
you
all
okay with that as a dog?
I'm not a dog, so it's okay.
Masheni's so sick of being called the dog. One day she's just going to snap and just like fucking bark at somebody.
Okay, so that gives me advantage on acrobatics and sleight of hand and stealth. Cool.
Okay, great. You guys are all tied. Go ahead.
I'm also going to cast Pass Without a Trace on hurt myself.
Well, you get to cast it on any people within 30 feet of you. Any number of people.
Yeah.
So all of you have plus 10 to stealth for the foreseeable future.
Everybody?
Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Does that change?
Plus 10?
Yeah, because it's only when it's within 30 feet of me. Yeah, and plus 10 to stealth.
Yeah, plus 10 to stealth if you remain within 30 feet of... Or did we figure out that you don't have to remain 30 feet, you just have to be within 30 feet of you when you cast it? Or, you do have to remain 30 feet?
No, it's... So, like, I could walk away from Nakano. She would be out of it, but then I could... As if I walked back towards her, she would...
Like, yeah, it's like an aura. I understand.
Yeah, it's an aura.
Got it. Cool. So as long as you guys stay within 30 feet of Masheni, you have plus 10 to stealth, including whatever other bonus stealth bonus you have, which will make Nakano
becomes invisible.
Yeah,
yeah.
You actually just straight go into the Argent Flame
just disappear entirely.
Just cross campaigns.
Yep. Hello.
Great. Okay.
Give thumbs up and
you guys all
hold
take
my
a
breath and
deep breath. Just for clarification, you guys have the amount of you can hold your breath for a number of minutes equal to your Constitution. 1 minute plus the amount of minutes equal to your Constitution modifier. So, for example, if you have 12 for Constitution, that's a +1 modifier. That means you can hold your breath for 2 minutes because it's 1 minute plus your Constitution modifier. That also means if you have a negative Constitution modifier, you can't hold your breath for very long. A couple seconds at best. 1 minute at minimum, I believe. Make sense?
I'm also going to, as the water comes out, I'm just going to stay at the edge of the water, like walking up the spiral, just staying at the edge so that I'm ready to like jump in and help if I need to.
Yeah, you can only move like 50 feet away from it because you're tethered by the rope, but yes, I understand.
Me?
Yeah, you guys all tethered your way down yourselves, right?
No, just
hurt.
Oh, no, just hurt and Machete.
Just hurt and
They're the
Machete?
only ones going in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it.
I'm
great.
gonna give a bolt of light to Machete as well, or Hurt, whoever wants to take it.
Oh, thank you.
You take
Potion in my
the crossbow bolt that is lit up for you.
Okay. Ready.
Great. You uncork the vial, and the dust rushes out and fills the runes. As a bunch of the water just begins to fill the space entirely. Just rushing out, and you can see through like the odd warbling, like odd movements that water takes on the light, that there's something other than what you saw beyond the gate when it didn't have water rushing through it. And you do see that the level is slowly rising. It's not what you would expect beyond, like, you can't really make out anything. All you know is that there was like a cavern that continued, like kind of just a naturally forming cave just from like water erosion, just like a cenote is. But that's not what's beyond this veil anymore. There's something else.
Yeah. I motion to Hurt. Let's go. I pop out my fins and start going.
Okay,
We
you
go through the portal.
touch the threshold of it, and like the most extreme riptide you've ever felt before, you get sucked right through. It looks to you as if Hurt and Macheni touch the water, and then the water like slams them down on the ground. But rather than seeing a Macheni and Hurt that are like face down on the ground, they're just gone. The rope does remain taut and pulling through. You and Hurt feel like you are pushed this way, to and fro, hither and yon, via massively strong currents through just all you can see is like the light of the bolt that's flashing among your face, and you're trying to see, but you're surrounded by water and there's bubbles everywhere and you don't know where you are, until eventually you can like right yourself with your fins and you find yourself being like pulled. The rope that you're attached to is tied so tight. You feel whiplash as you the restraint around your waist, your neck and your legs just go almost entirely all the way back as it just snaps and you get caught. I'm gonna roll a Constitution saving throw for the rope real quick to see if it snaps or not. It's a natural 20. It stays strong and firm and does not snap. Now I'm going to roll one for Hurt.
Hurt.
That's a natural 19. The rope stays strong and firm. Both of you like feel this like whiplash though. You feel, you finally get your bearings and you look and you open your eyes and you can see before you is the gate now rushing, and it looks as though you feel the current like sucking and draining into the gate, but at the same time there's like the opposite force, similar to like a riptide, where there are portions, depending on like how you approach the gate, there are portions that are pushing extremely fast out of it, but there are other portions that are sucking into it, kind of like how a container has to take in air before it can like release the water. It's kind of like that, but magical, so it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But you feel like you're being pushed out of this thing. You look around, you see not a duplicate, another one of these gates. You just see a collection of like underground stones, but you're all underwater. You're entirely underwater. You see water in every direction. You don't see any, you don't see the surface of anything. You can't see it. What you do see around you is like a large, expansive underwater mountain ranges that stretch as far as the eye can see until like the light just drops off. You do look behind you and you see massive coral formations of what looks like an underwater mushroom forest made out of like coral mushrooms. And you see like standing no more than 20 feet before you, stunned into like mouth agape, what looks like an adolescent Kuatoa staring at you with this eyes wide, mouth agape, as bloop, one bubble just escapes their wide open mouth. And that's where we're going to take our break.
Okay.
We'll be back in a couple minutes, guys. Head over to the next episode if you're watching this episodically, and don't forget, stay safe out there.
Bye bye.
Bye.